Hello, welcome to week 12, where you've already started project 4. You've entered into some parts of it or understanding some of it, maybe foggy on other parts. And week 12 will clarify a lot of it, I would hope. We're going to focus on creating an abstract and the different images that are needed for project 4. So instead of going through understanding concepts like I would, instead we're going to look at a PowerPoint and sometimes come back to different tabs that I have open. All right, so this module is going to be preparing you for some of the more nuanced parts of the recommendation report, such as the abstract, letter of transmittal, visual for the reports. You need 5 static and 1 dynamic, delegation and collaboration. So part of you may be internally blinking and thinking, the rec draft is due later next week. It should all be put together this week. However, you should remember that taking a large project, such as this one step at a time, it's best. Not only does it help with time management, but it also enables greater understanding for the components and thus hopefully better execution of said components. Know that part of the recommendation report has already been started. And what I mean by this is each group is allowed to use copy from the winning research summary to help build the text, some of the text-based sections of the recommendation report. This can include the context, kind of background section of the introduction and the explanation of the problem or need. So let's look at someone's report. So if we look at this group, Project COVID Dating, we look at their introduction. A lot of it was expanded upon, and I want you to do that as well, but a lot of it was started from the research summary that the project manager had submitted. And then we go down to the problem area, and a lot of this was started on the research summary, and you can contextualize it with stuff about the impacted population or causes if you want to, or condense it somehow. So furthermore, you're allowed to use applicable data visualizations from Project 2 in the sections, what is the problem? And then if I open this up again and we look at the problem section for this particular project, they had created these visuals from Project 2 and maybe this one from Project 3, but they were viable visualizations to use for their problem section, in which you will have to include an originally created data visualization from someone in your group. If it's already created from a past project, that's fine. But again, it has to apply to the report. Third meeting stuff and expectations. So during your third meeting, make sure to discuss who is completing which visual as part of that recommendation report. Knowing this will help you to complete the individual assignment titled Image Design Analysis for P4. The visualization should speak to the topic of the report, like stats concerning the impacted population, a timeline of the events, monetary issues, or it can address one of the image requirements for the report, like a video, team created data visualization, schedule, Gantt chart, or a team budget. Okay. During that third meeting, you should also discuss and be aware who's responsible for submitting the group progress report, number 2. And that said group member is on track to complete the assignment on time. But again, it's an individual assignment and will only affect their grade if they don't turn it in. The format should remain consistent with that of the first progress report, and the format should remain similar for future reports. Creating an abstract is another part of Project 4. We've never written an abstract, that's okay. The recommendation report will expose you to the idea, and the executive summary assignment will force you to research and find examples of abstracts, and everyone's going to have to turn that in. The abstract assignment for this week anyway. So what is an abstract? They're mostly seen for APA style reports. However, in more formal submissions of MLA reports, abstracts are also preferred. An abstract is a synopsis of what the report will overview. Some writers fall into the trap of the abstract is the first thing the audience will read. Therefore, it's my introduction. This is incorrect. Think of when you flip over a DVD or a book and there's a paragraph-like premise highlighting what you can expect. The same should be true for your report and abstract, as the abstract should summarize the report and the report should then follow with an actual and separate introduction followed by the other movable parts. So while I have you here describing parts of the recommendation report that might seem foreign, let's talk about letters of transmittal. I mean, in Project 1, you already learned about letter formats, and some of you chose to write a letter in response to the audiences of your scenario. A letter of transmittal is not so far apart from what you already know, except for purpose. Essentially, this type of letter signals intent to in the most formal of ways. Think of the seriousness of a letter and what it applies. And thus, this establishes ethos for Project 4 from the onset. Each person in the group should be responsible for composing 2 or 3 parts of the recommendation report. So one person will be responsible for creating the letter of transmittal. It's not explicitly clear in the assignment directions how to attach the letter, and that's okay if your group comes up with their own way, such as this example I have pictured here, where you can upload just this, upload the letter as a PDF to USF Rights, and then at the bottom, include a link for your presentation, your recommendation report. Let's see if I can bring that up. So this person here, that's all they uploaded. And then I click the link, and they made sure that their link is shareable to all. And that's also important. If I can't open your presentation, then that's not good. And then the rest of their presentation is there, but the letter of transmittal is not really there. It's not on their table of contents, and that's okay, because they supplied me with the letter like as the opening of their report. That might not work for you, and I'm gonna pause it real quick. Okay, so if that doesn't work for you for some reason, I've also seen people attach the letter as a JPEG to like the top part of their report, or even like a link where I can click it and then it pulls up a PDF tab of their letter, but it's still kind of at the top of their report. So whatever way you want to integrate your letter to start your presentation is fine with me, as long as it's meeting the assignment guidelines and you're supplying me with a letter to start with and the letters formatted nicely. If you click on understanding concepts, and it's talking about here's how to create a letter. There's also a link that will open up and give you other examples and like a tip, and then talk about what is a letter of transmittal. So again, you can find that in the understanding concepts. W12 understanding concepts part of the module. I'm going to zoom out of the PowerPoint now to focus more on the module. And really the only thing for day one is everyone in the group, this is an independent assignment, is going to research abstract summaries. Hopefully you'll do these readings first. But the activity is to open up Google, type in example of see what that pulls up for you. You need to find an example of two reports. And again, if you want to make it easier for yourself, and just look for examples of abstract and see if you can find two. Ultimately, I'm looking for you to answer these questions about the abstracts themselves. So if you want to pull up reports instead and you find abstracts that way, it works. You just want to pull up the abstracts and answer these questions individually for each abstract, then do that. And compare and contrast them, think about what could be improved, and this will help you when you're drafting the abstract for the project and for other classes where you're going to have to create an abstract. This is a text box assignment, so don't worry about MLA or APA formatting. Now I'm going to stop the video here and create a second video for day 2 assignments just to keep them short.